Good evening, Free Enterprise fans from around the world. Welcome to twitch.tv/Free Enterprise for tonight's community race. My name is Veritas Knight, and I'm joined here in the broadcast booth by our incredible restreamer, Beauty and Discovery. Xenocat is tracking for us tonight. And joining me on commentary, I'm not I Am Damar. He is I Am Damar. It's Damar. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Good evening, legends. I hope y'all are ready for an action-packed night here, the community race.
That's right. Tonight we've got Cubs Rule and Infinius on our highlighted restream. Two excellent runners who are going to show us the simple beauty of the spoon. Damara, how do you feel about the spoon?
The spoon here, it's definitely something that takes Edward and be like, okay, we're probably not going to use him, but now he becomes a real viable option. So, and then it's just it's Edge and it's Edge and Edward, so it's most definitely the option here. So
That's right. You're throwing them or you're cutting with them tonight. So I'm going to get a little bit into the flag set. It is a little bit more of a complex flag set tonight, taking advantage of the Free Enterprise 5.0.3 alpha build, which you can hook up for yourself at alpha.ff4fe.com if you want to roll a seed. So we're using some of the new options to create objective pools. And in objective pool A is every 5 bosses. So 5 bosses, 10, 15, etc. Each of those milestones will give you a spoon. So 5 spoons up for grabs, +1 in the general item pool that you can find by doing key item checks. Our second objective is every 3 key items. So 3, 6, 9, etc. That will give you a powerful item reward, a glass mask, a power shirt, a Masamune. And then we're going to give you 6 hard quests, each of which, again, will give you a reward of a good item. And if you manage to complete all 6, you get to walk out with a sweet suit of adamant armor, which is the only way to find it other than grinding pink buffs, as far as I can tell.
every single one of these objective rewards is just a sweet piece of equipment, just designed to make the run go smoother.
That's right. Focus on equipment that will be good for Edge or for Edward, which are the only characters you're going to be seeing tonight, folks. Now, in order to win the game, you need to complete 15 bosses, find 12 key items, and do 5 of the 6 quests. So there is going to be 6 hard quests. I didn't see what they were yet, but I'm sure we'll get that sorted out. And yeah, you got to get 5 out of the 6. You got to get 12 key items. You got to get 15 bosses. So it's bosses and key items, and it's quests.
I'm not seeing what these quests are just yet either, so maybe we see one of the.
All right, it looks like we're going to start. Yeah, looks like we're going to start. It is an Edward, so the other option is so you know what? It could have been 2 Edwards. Here we go. Bearing key to start, and we'll see our runners head on out.
Oh, we got Ed, Edge, and Eddie here. So
yeah, so a few other things about this flag set. The key items are located in the K main, K summon, K monster boxes above positions. So that's the Tower of Zot, Castle Eblin, Cave Eblin, Upper Babel, the Giant, and the Hair Dryers. K care is also on, so K character. Any character check may be replaced by a key item. And K Force Magma is on, so we're going to be looking for that Magma key to get underground.
And that K character check also works in the inverse as well. That means a character can show up at key item spots.
Exactly, and we already saw what that looks like in the Baron Inn when Cubs Rule took a peek. And Phineas finding a lunar staff from the bedward, so no help there. Cubs Rule picking up some cabins. But yeah, you'll see those chests, those blue chests available in the character positions, and sometimes you'll see a character pop up where you would expect a key item.
And we're seeing a little bit of divergence already. Phineas is going to the public treasury, and Sororia and Cubs Rule is going straight to Evelyn.
Now, we have moved our monster boxes back into their vanilla locations for this flag set. As a result, we will see that they know exactly which chests to pick in Castle Evelyn. Because we have T Wildish on, we are getting a slightly better tier of loot the further along in the vanilla game we get. So this is a logical spot for our runners to start. That's okay, though. Just because it's logical doesn't mean you have to do it, and that's what Infinius is doing by heading on over to what looks like the Antlion Cave.
Meanwhile, Cubs Rule just finished the first tower. Did find a gold apple, which could come in handy for those Edwards since they're so squishy and could give them a little more survivability.
Yeah, Murasame there as well. So Edge is going to be able to throw out some... do the knifey part of the knifey spoony tonight.
And that black belt they found too is definitely not going to hurt.
I always like that light little strength bump. Want to say a big thanks to Xenocat for getting up our Group C objectives. So it's the Pink Tail, complete the Cave Magnus, so we're probably getting some music for you tonight, folks. We're going to liberate Baron Castle. They already have that item in their inventory. We got to bring the Mist Survivor to Kaipo. I've never seen that before. Defeat the Queen of the Town of Monsters and complete the Tower of Zot. So really interesting set of pretty much primarily overworld objectives. That's really interesting.
The new thing with the Bring the Mist Village Survivor to Kaipo is it's the Burn the Village Mist check, but you have to completely see it through. And meanwhile, Infinius founds the Legend Sword in the Antlion check.
Yeah, so that's going to be Infinius' second of 12 needed key items, although Infinius will get his first key item reward on the third he finds, and first boss down as well, and we need 15 of those bosses. So probably won't be able to keep up on those counts, folks. We're going to do our best, but just be aware, you'll get a notification on the screen every 5 bosses, and that's what we'll keep an eye out for.
And we will add each of these objectives will yield a 20% boost in experience, but it will come at a cost of the 10 key item bonus experience is not going to be kicked in.
That's right. So one of the new features in Free Enterprise 5.0.3 Alpha is, there's the Pink Tail waiting in the character location at the top of Mount Hobbs. Great find for Infinius. One of the features we have is more ways to modify your experience gain. In this case, you're going to get more experience for completing objectives to a maximum of 3 times the base experience gain. And because of that, we've chosen to shut off the 10 key item bonus. Looks like it's double Mura day now. Oh, no. Double edge for Cubs Roll. Was able to find an edge in one of those treasure chests, it looks like. Wow.
And Infinius takes down a Kanazo, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be out of the pool since it is all B Chaos flag on, so this may not be the last we'll see a Kanazo.
That's right. The only boss we can guarantee that you're not going to see tonight is the Fabul Gauntlet. But we can't guarantee you're going to see any boss just once. You'll also notice Infinius got his first reward by picking up a third key item, the Pink Tail, is now getting 1.2 times experience and got the glass mask. Infinius has also found another edge to go with your edge, while Cubs Rule is taking on the Mad Ogres in their vanilla location. Having found a Mura, I think, for each of his edges, he'll definitely have a little bit of power coming out of it, but Infinius, when he chooses to do Evelyn, will have a little bit more of an experience bump from it, as he's gotten a few key items already.
And that can definitely come in handy. I already got those objectives checked off, so that's an additional 20%. And meanwhile, another edge found by Cubs Rule in the Monster in a Box.
3 edges and an eddy. That sounds like a barbershop quartet to me.
They might need to come my way and give me a fresh fade.
Speaking of fades, Infinius sees another Edward hanging out of the watery pass and decides to head on back to the Enterprise, We are going to try our luck somewhere else. Cubs Rule taking on the Staleman chest in Castle Eblin. Going to go for 3 for 3 on the first run through. Shouldn't be a problem. Throwing a few things and using edges, one of the edges' flame ability to clear up those skulls. Meanwhile, Phineas checking the locked... Ooh, Ninja Robe. That's not bad if you want to go fast. Crystal Ring for Cubs Rule in the Staleman box, so not too bad. I would think...
like Phineas is going to make a play for one of those ninja shirts.
Yeah, I think you want to be fast in the overworld. Well, if you want to be fast in the overworld, that ninja shirt is going to make you go fast. Thunderclaw, nice little pickup, just in case you run into one of those monsters that is weak to thunder, or if you decide later on to go do a particular grind on the giant, which you might, who knows. Oh, speaking of, Odin shouldn't take too long to drop anyway, but, you know, speaking of weak to thunder. Looks like Cubs Rule is going for second Edward, and we'll probably do a little bit deeper of a dive into the watery pass. And Phineas has found the Bahamut. Ooh. Shh, that'll be interesting.
Looks like he is just going to try to take it down as fast as possible.
Is there an Edward strat here that he's trying to do? That's interesting.
I think he's just going to buy a little time, put all the power on one, and then maybe throw some star bells.
Well, that seems like the way to do it. Cubs Rule finds a plague hanging out in Mist Cave. Normally you'd reset out of that, but because we need these bosses, doesn't matter what the bosses are, take them down. That's going to be the first count on Cubs for that particular area. And there up come the Star Veils on Phineas' side. Looks like he's only going to bother with the one. Oh no. Ooh. That Mega Nuke only did 1100. That is, you should still be able to get through with the edge, but especially at the speeds that edge is going to be. But I would imagine Phineas was hoping for, I think, a little bit more damage after spending all that time.
Absolutely. And at this point, edge is the extra edge is expendable, being that there's no XP, so.
That's right. Now, the Cubs Rule has found a curse ring in one of the mist shops, which I think is really interesting. Handy. And we've got another edge for Phineas. I think that was a... Yeah, and then an adamant. Yep. There we go. So, Forge is not a quest today, but we do have the Alt Smith on with playable only items. Now, because Edge is in the party, it's anything that Edge could dart is in the pool. But there's still Super Smith available for Phineas once he finds the Magma Key and pops underground. Cubs Rule is going to go check Baron. I wonder if Cubs Rule is going to go take the bosses as well. And Phineas is heading down into the Baron waterway to proceed towards the castle proper. Yeah, it looks like Cubs Rule is going to go take on the Odin and then the Bahamut. So with the extra power that Cubs Rule has from doing Castle Eblin, getting through Bahamut should be a lot easier.
And then the extra manpower as well. Phineas only came in there with two party members, so.
Yeah, definitely a big difference. Looks like Phineas is getting ready to head in and take on that boss, which I've already forgotten. Do you remember what the boss is, Damar?
It was a robe for Mylon, so it's either Mylon and Friends or it's Mylon Zed.
That's right, on this stream it's Mylon Zed, folks. Yeah, Cubs were able to get through the Bahamut a little bit quicker with that additional firepower. several well-equipped edges. And Phineas is going to engage the Mylon. We'll see which one it is here. All right, it's Mylon Z, so this shouldn't take too long. Yeah, we're throwing a Drain Spear. That'll be the bulk of the hit points.
And Cubs Rule is dropping one of those Edwards in favor of a fourth edge.
You know, it's tough to blame him. I think you probably want, especially whereas we still haven't seen enough bosses to get to the spoon, and Phineas is going to get pretty close here. 1, 2, 3. This should be the 5th boss from Phineas. But how many spoons do you really want to have equipped on Edwards at any given time? I don't know. I can't see you wanting too many, right?
And it's always better to throw them, I say.
Well, you want one for your Eddie, and then I think you're throwing it's cutlery time. Ninja Sword and a Strength Ring in Castle Baron there. That's a really nice pickup. Here's B Chaos in action. We see a second Mylon Z hanging out at the waterfall. I guess it's tough defending Baron as the monster on duty. You got to go take a bath from time to time. Take a load off, right?
That is true. A little time in the hot springs relax the mind there a little bit.
This Mylon Z shouldn't take too long, and Phineas finds a sparkle. And it's the D-Lunars. Okay. You know, this many edges in early D-Lunars does not feel at all frightening, does it?
Oh, no. Especially just keep slinging those flames.
Cubsjul's going to dive a little bit deeper into the watery pass, pick up a long sword for one of the many edges that he's bearing. Yeah. Rods and staves. Who needs rods and staves, Damar?
Oh, no. Definitely don't need them here. If only they could be thrown.
I think it would be funny if Edge could just throw sticks at people. I think that'd be great. Just an apple is the reward in Baron, but we know that liberating Baron Castle is the first of 5 objectives that is required to complete Group C. As a reminder, Group A is completed at 15 bosses and Group B at 12 key items, although increments of 5 and 3 respectively give additional rewards. Just like each of those quests gives a reward as well. The first quest will provide, it looks like a Protect Ring, which is not a terrible piece of gear to pick up this early in the game.
Especially when you have Edward in your party for the early game. I mean, survivability matters a lot. And I cannot. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. He needed a 5th character. So I was about to say, I don't see him taking a second Edward, but I have my parties mixed up there.
It can be a little confusing. All these edges and all these Edwards left and right. And Phineas is going to pop into the Chocobo Forest, pick up the swag chest for 40 gold. It's a long way to walk for 40 gold. Looks like Cubs Rule is going to go finally check the bedward and get a lunar staff, which, I mean, that's sellable. You can sell these things. Someone wants the stick.
Well, just a little bit of money go a long way sometimes.
The character, can you believe it? The character on Mount Ordeals was an Edward. I am shocked. Another little nice dart with a light sword there. So when Phineas took the free treasury, Cubs Rule not bothering. Says, I am out of here. So 3 bosses and a key item makes Ordeals really attractive. And it looks like we're going to get some either Ruby or the elements here. And it is the vanilla. Yeah. Doesn't look like we're going to have too much trouble with Mr. Rubicant. Especially not with a brand new lightsaber to throw. Problem solved.
Especially with multiple angry edges.
Multiple angry edges and cutlery to project. Cubs Rule just picked up a bunch of dancing daggers to help complete the Edwards attributes, and we've got a DKC a Dark Knight Cecil on the back attack. The Edward probably won't make it through, but everything else should be fine here. Now, DKC is one of those bosses that can do a lot of damage later on. Luckily, with B Chaos on, this might not be the only Dark Knight we see.
This is true. Normally you'd be relieved to see him in an early spot like that, but no, not today.
No, there could still be 3 or 4. Probably not 3 or 4, but there still could be a couple Dark Knight Cecils waiting somewhere on the moon, waiting somewhere underground, somewhere where it can really punch. However, justice is not the only right in the world at this point. We will see soon, and Infinius is going to be through to the mirror room in just a moment.
And meanwhile, Cubs Roll is going to be running into those dark imps that we saw earlier at the ant line.
Yeah, throwing out a Stardust item just to get rid of them quickly. Saves a little bit of time over Infinius there in the execution. And just as a reminder, folks, if you're tuning in late, Cubs Rule started by looting Castle Eblin. This is made a lot easier by the fact that we know where the monster boxes are going to be in this seed. We've restored vanilla locations as a boon to the runners. And that didn't matter to Cubs Rule. He went right through all 3 of those monster boxes and picked up a bunch of experience to kick things off.
And speaking of Cubs Rule, he got his spoon for his 5th boss, and meanwhile, Infinius got him a ribbon.
Infinius has found... Oh, there's the second DKC. Vanilla location. Not nearly as frightening as the back attack one, which was not particularly frightening to begin with. But Infinius has a hook now. So that pink tail turn-in is on the table.
One thing you gotta love about B Chaos is you do get these instances where you have back-to-back in the same spot.
I've seen it. I've played a B Chaos seed where I hit the same boss 3 times in ordeals. I believe it was the turtle, and yeah, that's an experience that you will always remember.
Yeah, those and the back-to-back Ogopogos in the Baron Inn. That one gets to be a doozy sometimes as well.
Oh yeah, that's not particularly fun either. So we know that hanging out on for Cubs Rules here at the top of Hobbs, it is the pink tail. Infinius now with the hook and the pink tail. We will see if he chooses to go turn that in. It is a quest, which means it will give the second item from that line, which is a Zeus Gauntlet. So that is certainly something to power up those edges and really get them rolling as you move towards the underground. As a reminder, folks, the magma key is out there. You do not have to take the hook route, but you could. And there's extra monster boxes to check on there as well. Be interested to see what Infinius chooses to do here.
And with having so many edges in your party, it certainly is an option.
Yeah, I think Infinius probably would want to do Castle Eblin first to get the experience, to get the items there. We know there's a couple Murasames in there that would really help his party. Cubs Rules looks like it's going to go take care of Baron, and the pink tail turns out to be a... I didn't see it.
He hasn't given it out yet. It's a Masamune.
You know what? Sometimes the game just knows.
That is a great pickup.
Zeus Gauntlet and a Masamune for giving a pink tail to a little guy hanging out in the grotto. Not too bad, right?
Sometimes those good deeds are very rewarding.
So Infinius looks like is going to check out Cave Eblin. I don't know if he's just going to get the character, going to check the shops. S Standard is on, so the later and more gated the shop, the better the potential gear within us. Another Murasame. Edge gear everywhere tonight. Wow. Randomizer has come through.
And some good money too with that crystal helm. So definitely it is definitely giving tonight.
There's some sirens. If you want to scramble some eggs for your experience, that is now on the table. And Infinius selling through a whole bunch of stuff here, walking out with over 100,000 in wonderful loot. And quite a few good pieces of gear to equip up his edges. And yeah, I guess you could equip up your Edward if you really wanted to as well. Picks up the Bacchuses. Does not go for Sirens. Chooses some life pots. Interesting. Cool.
I do like this decision. I mean, because with these two being your only characters, you're not going to get a White Mage cast Berserk. So it makes the perfect sense to do this.
Yeah. Bacchus is a very important item. Another item that I think you would have wanted to see with this party is a few exits. You are not getting out of these places otherwise. Infinius is picking up some loot, but not doing a full loot of the cave. Cubs roll taking on those D-looters. And it's a blue item, so it's a key item. Dolls on the hook route, if you choose to do it. 2 bosses. I mean, Doll's pretty doable, I think, with this party.
Oh, yeah. I mean, got all those flames, just spam flame, and they should go down pretty quickly. But I am noticing that he is passing on the monster in a box.
Yeah, at least at this time. Maybe he doubles back in a second. Picks up the Luca key. Sealed Cave, not an objective tonight, but who knows what's hiding behind the sealed door. Now, Infinius committing to the fade of the monster box in Cave Eblin. I wonder if that will come back to bite him.
It wasn't like he had to go too much out the way for it, but we'll see how that works.
We'll find out in a moment here. Is going to take the monster box in the lower Babel as well. So as a reminder, folks, only the monster boxes in the above position are in the key item pool tonight. That's the Tower of Zot, Castle and Cave Eblin, Upper Babel, the Giant and the Hairdryer's Chest on the Moon. It does not include the Lunar Path. So we're probably not going to see a lot of Moon bosses tonight. K-Moon is not on, but K-Summon is, which means we might see Cave Value once they find a Darkness Crystal somewhere.
And it looks like he'll be working the life glitch. Get the extra XP.
Yeah, do you want to explain the life glitch, or do you want me to explain the life glitch?
With the life glitch, all it is that the way reviving works here is scales off of your vitality. There's a little multiplier of your vitality. However, with enemies, they are set to 0 vitality, so 0 times the multiplier still remains 0. So what that means is you get credit for defeating a monster twice, a little double dip, you could say.
That's right. You'll never even see the monster pop back up. Speaking of things popping up, Cubs Rule has checked my city and found 2 edges for his trouble. No key items there. Infinius.
That is a double-edged check, if you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 3 edges at once. That is a lot of edges, but it is less edges than are currently in the parties right now, so...
And in that Mad Ogre chest is another Edward, which is an immediate hard pass.
Yeah, I think the parties are comfortable with the amount of Edwards they have today. Infinity is taking some time to gear up after having a little bit of difficulty with the Mad Ogres. I wouldn't say too much, but a little bit, and is now going to double back. So it looks like Infinius will not proceed all the way through the Tower of Babel, and will instead head back, likely pick up that Snailman chest on the way out, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's the expectation here as well. Go back, do that, and then pop on out.
I wonder if that's a decision that might change for Cubs Rule's side. Cubs Rule will be coming with a little bit of extra experience. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. So here comes the Snailman chest. 2 edges up only, and Infinius is probably not going to have too much challenge with it.
No, and from what I'm seeing, it looks like that second Edward he is going to just use as it. Let him nap throughout the whole thing, let him be an anchor for the end. That looks like the likely play there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anchoring, of course, is very important. So for those who don't know what we mean when we say anchor, in Final Fantasy IV, The enemy speed was determined by a mathematical calculation using Cecil's agility versus the monster's agility. I'm not going to get into the full details, but what you need to know basically is that the faster your character is, early on is better, and later on it means that your monsters are going to move fast. So once you get to the later game, you want to do what we call have an agility anchor that has a very low agility. If you are interested in finding out more, I recommend popping onto YouTube, going to Tall Grant's channel, and checking out the video that he's posted there. Tall Grant's one of our community sages and has explained it way better than I ever could, and with all the math that I refuse to do on stream.
Yep, sometimes it's just better to keep it simple. And he did, and speaking of, Infineous did find a rat tail in that monster in the box earlier, the Staleman chest.
Yeah, so backing out here, probably going to check that rat tail. Let's see what's behind it. We are still looking for the cave, for the magma key. There are likely some locations to check that I can't think of because we've got K-Care on, but I know we haven't checked Fabul yet, and that rat tail could also have the answer.
Fabul, the rat tail, and not to mention the monster in a box check in the Tower of Zot. That is still on the table as well.
Oh yes, we can't forget about petting the dog.
He's a little bit of a hot dog.
Well, with I think that both Infineous and Cubs Rule have picked up enough experience and weapons that they don't have to worry too much about the flame dog, but you know, a little bit toasty. So yeah, it looks like Infineous is backing out. And again, without those White Mage casters, we're seeing that's quite a long backtrack to have to do. Now, obviously, Infineous made it work by hitting up the Mad Ogres first for some experience and a better item. The Staleman chest can be pretty rough, as Roddy Sniper pointed out in chat. But I got to tell you, that has a lot of backtracking, and I do wonder if that's going to make a difference down the road.
And Beauty and Discoverers mentioned it as the up dog, and somebody has to be that guy. So what's up, dog?
Right, you are. All right, let's see what this rat tail contains. On Cubs Rule side, you can see he's now at 6 key items. Just picked up a nice, handy dandy ribbon from that. Yeah.
And the rat tail yields a Gungnir spear.
Well, it's something you can throw, and in this seed, that's very, very valuable.
Yummy, yummy darts.
All right, we're going to see. So Infineous looks like it's going to head to Castle Eblin. We know the Magma Key's not there. There's some edges. There's some Murasames. I don't think there was any additional key items. Just taking a quick peek, and no. Meanwhile, Cubs will have to make a decision once he's through the mirror room. But in the meantime, folks, if you are having a great time, because I know I'm having a great time watching this incredible flag set, if you want to hang out with us, you can always join our Discord. There's going to be a link in the chat right now. There's going to be a link down below if you're watching this back on YouTube or VOD. Or you can go to FF4FE.com, and there's a link down at the bottom to join our Discord. There's also a link to our wiki and a link to roll your own seeds. So we would love to have you come hang out with us. And if you are thinking, hey, it's really hard to do a restream, I can't believe what an incredible job Damar and also Verdus Knight are doing, not to mention Beauty and Xenocat. It's actually not hard at all, and we would love to have you join. That's on the Discord too. So, folks, come hang out. We would love to see you.
We got a bunch of great people in the community, and it'd be great for y'all to come in and hang out. And hey, if I can do this, so can y'all.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. We're having a great time. A couple silk webs for Cubs Rule, that's a nice pickup. You always want to have a few silk webs, especially for Mr. Zeromus much later on, because tonight we will be getting the crystal for completing our 3 objective pools, and we will be fighting Zeromus. So that's community races. We've been doing a little bit of back and forth. I always like one with a Zeromus fight. I don't know about you, but that's my preference.
This is definitely going to be an interesting one to watch with the party here that we have. I do kind of like a little bit of both. I do kind of like to keep that little balance of the Z fight and no Z fights. I mean, I do like to keep it mixed up a little bit, you know.
There's something time convenient about no Z fight, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite right to me if I'm not trying to figure out who the... If I'm not looking at a sprite at the end and going, what game is that from?
It is definitely one of the perks of playing the the Z fights and getting to see all the many different sprites that the community has came up with, and some of them are funny, some of them are impressive, and then some of them are just memes.
It is. I've said this before. There are some. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Of course, folks, I promise you, we'll do the bit. But since we're watching everyone loot and mark time and go through Castle Evelyn, where we've already seen with no particular challenge, just a little bit of chit banter. But I just want to say, some of the things that are in there are incredible. One of my personal favorites is a previous, they put in some avatars for previous champions, and that's the only way I'll ever beat them at Free Enterprise. So I'm very grateful to the community for that.
I know the feeling, so I totally get it.
Exactly. All right, looks like Infinius is finished up in Castle Evelyn and is now heading to check the Flame Dog, which I think is the only place progression can be. I don't think there's any free character checks left. I don't think there's any other than Fabul. That's the only other place we could be looking. Now, that doesn't mean we won't see a little bit of a chain. You can always go to the Harp, and the Harp is on the menu tonight, so we will see. We don't have the D-Mist hunt on, so the free Bedward item was on. So it's not going to be... You don't have to check the boss unless you find the Earth Crystal, at which point you probably want to.
Definitely. And at this point, you never know. The D-Mist may not even be in here at all.
Yeah, and that's it, right? So no hunts for the D-Mist tonight. Just a quick little slash the Flame Dog, and we will take a peek at the item. There's the magma key. Okay.
There's the answer. And a power shirt for the key item objective.
Yeah, we are already at, I believe that was 9 key items. So just on the overworld alone, Infinius has gotten 75% of the way to completing Pool B. So you still need to get your bosses in. You still need to finish the objectives. And to finish the objectives, we are looking for a package. We are looking for an Earth Crystal. And we are looking for a Harp. We just opened up the ability to get underground and take on that queen at the Town of Monsters.
And I'm almost going to assume that is where Infinius is going to be heading to. And it looks like Cubs Rule will be heading to Fabul.
And there's still a possibility for progression here. Infinius appears to be attempting to preserve the legend of the one dip Fabul, hoping to find the pan elsewhere. But looks like Cubs Rule is going to give us a peek at that. So we'll see if this pays off. If this is Earth Crystal or Harp, I think it's a really big piece of advantage to Cubs Rule.
Definitely. Now, another thing that is being pointed out, they will soon find the Darkness Crystal because there is no pass in this flag set.
I didn't even note that. I'm so used to pass just being automatic. So we got to make the long walk tonight, folks. It's the only way.
And you would think with the 5.0, because the one new change in the 5.0 as well is that the pass is now classified as a key item.
Yes, but tonight it is not going to be part of the item pool. So that's fascinating. Looks like Infinius is going to go do that Supersmith. Will he loot? Yes, he will loot the old man. Gotta give it to him.
And a little shuriken stashed off in the bookshelf there.
Cubs Rule is able to get through the Mom Bomb's extended hit points. No challenge. Just a little bit extra swings. Zeus Gauntlet's crystal rings available at the shop in the Forge. That's the Zeus Gauntlets. That's real nice.
That is a loaded shop. Crystal rings, Zeus Gauntlets, power shirts, ribbons. Oh, that is everything you need right there.
And the Available item is the Masamune, so there we go.
Oh no!
What we knew that item had to be something that was usable, but because all dartable objects are in the pool, it could have been a dartable object, like a white spear or an Excalibur. But once again, the seed comes through and it says you need swords for your edges. Here's more swords. Swords, swords, swords.
And that is the alt smith, not the super smith. So
PCM and 1311. Yes, this is not oops all edge. It's Edward or edge. Whoever can use the spoon. And both of our runners have chosen majority edge.
As I like to call it, Ed, Edge, and Eddie.
Exactly. Whew. All right. Infinius is going to check out Dwarf Castle. Cubs Rule is still hunting for the Magma Key and does seem to be a tiny bit behind right now. Looks like is going to set up to check Cave Eblin, but is going to go for the Magma Key by getting that Flame Dog check. Dark Elf. Yeah.
Lord Goober asking what the hook 2 was. It was the dolls.
Yes. So one of the things that's interesting here is what what Infinius found underground was the Luca key and the Rat Tail. Rat Tail led to an item. So if that becomes a fade, because no Cubs Rule is about to get the Magma Key here, that is 2 key items swing, but it would make up a fair bit of time. So it's going to be interesting. Still anyone's game here.
And we get a new change from the Dark Elf right now, showing this true form.
And there goes the true form. Yeah, the warp glitch is not on tonight, so even if we had a warp caster, which we couldn't, you wouldn't be able to use the warp glitch. That was a 10 boss reward, so Infinius has gotten a second spoon. 2 spoons for 2 edges.
And going into the second one, it looks like, okay, is this Rubicon or is this the Elements? And there's the Twin Harp and that item check.
Oh yeah, the Dwarf Castle has the goods tonight so far. That is a required harp, or probably required harp. Elements will drop very quickly. Cubs Rule finds King and Queen Eblin at the top of Zot. Interesting play to go ahead and do the top of the Zot without the Earth Crystal, but I mean, it's pretty quick and it's going to be a nice pile of experience. So
Edge gets to pull a Batman on his parents.
Yeah, Lord Goober points out this must be a check to see if there's a key item at Kane, which I think is an interesting call.
There was a questionable HP pull going into that second part of the boss fight for Infinius, but it is quickly taken care of, though.
Looks like it's a red chest. Shot. Looks like it's a red chest at the Kane spot. So Infinius walks out with 2 more bosses down, up to 11 bosses total, and the Twin Harp in hand. So we'll see what Infinius chooses to do next. Meanwhile, Cubs Rule is making that long walk out of the tower. It looks like
he will go for the objective.
You know what? Better runners than me have said it over and over again. Do your objectives. Just do them.
That's philosophy too. It's hey, don't get cute. Run your checks. Run your objectives.
So Infinius is going to go check out Cave Magnus. Cubs Rule has completed his journey down the Tower of Zot and looks like he's going to go, probably going to go check out Cave Eblin next. Yeah. Right, Infinius heading on down. Shouldn't take too long here, folks, to get you some music. We know there's a pretty good shop here. Sirens and Life Pots and Bacchus Wines. Have to imagine Cubs Rule is going to want some of that stuff.
Most definitely. I can't see him not going for. Oh no, maybe not. I was say maybe go for the vodka swans, but uh, oh wait, checking the gear first.
Train spear is throwable. Um, decides not to pick up anything, and away we go. But on the other end, we are going to get some harp music here in a second, folks. So we will shut up and we will let you enjoy the tune that was put together by one of our community contributors. So let's all listen. All right. So Dark Elf goes down pretty easily there. Vanilla Dark Elf. Thank you to the community for the incredible Illusion of Gaia song. I think it was Dark Gaia, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the
And
final boss from thing.
I haven't played Illusion of Gaia in a long time.
It is such a hidden gem.
Oh, absolutely. Infinius picks up a Moon Veil, and I think he also picked up a Moon Veil, if I saw that right. And Cubswell will get the Luca key that is available at the character check item in Cave Evelyn.
And that was sequenced by our very own Xenocat.
Xenocat, of course, one of our incredible community members. She puts together all sorts of awesome tunes from all over, many franchises, many requests. So thank you, Xenocat, once again, doing a great job. Rob Sat Places asks, are the character and key items swapped? So in the 5.0.3 version of Free Enterprise, currently in alpha, there's a flag called K-Care, C-H-A-R, that you can put on. That puts characters and key items into each other's pools. So anywhere you can find a character, you could also find a key item. But anywhere you could find a key item, including places you add through flags, you could also find a character. This does mean you can find characters in very interesting places, like recuperating in the bed with the King of Fabul, or hanging around Luca's neck as a necklace, which was where we found an Edward earlier. So, really interesting flag set that I think adds so much randomization potential to the game. And of course, that's what we do here. We randomize things.
And for all you know, you might be curing a key item like a tower key in the sand ruby spot.
That's right. All the best tower keys are cured by sand rubies. I've always said this.
And Phineas is going. It was just another edge in the Feymarch free spot.
Yeah, since we've only got Edward and Edge available, we've seen a lot of, in Infinius cases, knifies and spoonies available.
And it looks like we will be seeing the anchoring strategy at work very shortly as Infinius heals up and gets ready to go check out those Feymarch bosses.
Yeah, I mean, the queen is required. The king, there's key items hiding behind the various summon spots, so you can take the king. You probably want to. You've got an extra spoon. If it's a big deal, you can toss that spoon and take 10,000 off someone. And looks like we've got guards to start with for Infinius in the king spot. It's the officer and soldier. Yeah, this is...
Oh, that is even better. They throw up that hourglass, and they are mostly harmless now.
So while Edward and Edge take down these soldiers, there was a great point in chat from our wonderful restreamer Beauty and Discovery, noting that we recommend See No Giant with K character for certain shenanigans. And excellent point, because with K character on, because key items enter the pool, that giant check becomes very onerous if that's a potential key item. So we've turned it off for this. We use See No Giant for this particular flag set. And unless you really, really, really want to make it hard on yourself, something to keep in mind if you're generating seeds on your own. And if you do want to generate a seed, it's at alpha.ff4fe.com, and you can roll one up today. Well, do it after the stream. I hope you're having a great time.
There's just so many possibilities that are there. Oh, we got samurai arrows from the officer soldiers.
That's a decent zonk, but you have to think that both people will take it. And we're seeing our... I mean, I've seen double 4D lunars so far this set.
Yeah, and it looks like it'll be the same strategy being employed right here. Just throw the flames out.
Unfortunately, these D-Lunars are going to have a little bit more hit points, and they're going to be able to throw out flames as well. Already cutting through quite a bit of Infinius' hit points. Now, Infinius didn't save after the previous encounter, so let's see if there's going to be any challenges. Oh, yeah, it looks like we're going to try to reflect some breaths, maybe, but we're down to 2 characters.
This could get very scary very quickly.
Well, that Edward is not taking any damage, so unless they go back to flames, which I don't think they do. Could be slow, but should be doable. Yeah, there's a frog.
And there goes another frog.
Alright, at this point, it should be pretty much elementary to get through this for Infinius. Just might take a little bit of time as he gets his party back up and running. Looks like Cubs Rule is going to go trade in that rat tail. We'll find out that it's pretty much a zonk. I think it was a Gungnir spear, if memory serves.
I believe, yes, it was a Gungnir spear.
Our community member, Snuggly Hugs, has pointed out that frogs make them hoppy. And that made me laugh way more than it should.
And speaking of, Infinius makes those D-Lunars croak. And he gets the Arc Crystal.
The objective has an objective behind it. There we go. And that is the 4th objective, which gives a crystal ring. So there are 6 objectives, each of which give a gear piece. The next gear piece at 5 is a moon veil. But if you stick it out for 6, you get an adamant armor, which probably will be overkill at this point. But you know what? Might be worth having if you find the package on the way somewhere.
This is absolutely true. Hey, that extra speed does not hurt at all.
No, not having to worry about physical encounters for a character, extra strength for an Edge or an Edward. Yeah, it's a very useful item.
Well, let's see if Infinius is going to take this to the treasury or if he's going to go straight to the towers out to finish it off. And it looks like he will be going for the latter.
Go for the tower. I think this makes sense. Infinius has found more than enough swords to handle the rest of the seed. There's just been a lot of Masamunes, a lot of Murasames, a few ninja swords. Spoons for both of his Edwards. I don't think power is at too much of a premium. You probably would want to see... I found a bunch of Zeus gauntlets earlier. The only thing you'd really, really be looking for, I think, are power shirts.
Yeah, and even then, those are in the focal shop. So,
jeez, what a shop, eh? What a shop.
Yeah, that is a really, 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 like I said earlier, loaded shop.
Yeah, so you can buy anything you need if you are feeling underpowered. Infinius is going to take a save. We know it's King Queen Evelyn next, and that instead of a character on the other side of the door, it is a red chest, which means a non-key item, which, knowing the seed, will probably be an edge weapon.
Yeah, I have no reason to believe otherwise.
Oh, the seed got the assignment. I have to give it to them. I don't think the King of Eblin will succeed in bringing Infinius down to the Hades, but good for you, pal. Good for you.
Instead, it is probably just going to bring them to the Hades.
Do you think it's confusing when 3 of your own sons show up to take care of you like that? I mean, you only had 1. Where'd the 3rd come from?
Yeah, like, wait, who are you? Is this a multiverse?
So Infinius has just completed his 15th boss, giving him another spoon, handy, but more critically, completing Group A. So now that is both Groups A and B complete, and once Infinius completes the Tower of Zot, we'll have all of the objectives completed that are required to get the crystal, but still will not have the darkness crystal. And since the pass is not turned on, couple items here. We'll need defense and adventure. Throwy.
That would be a beautiful. That would be a beautiful haul if you had a Kane in your party.
Yeah, the Kane special. That's what that was. But unfortunately, no Kane, just Plague. Cubs will get his twin harp instead of Iridia. The Iridias will grow up, but they're nowhere to be found. We'll take on a Mylon Zed, and this Plague's not going to last very long, I don't think. Ooh, 80 damage. Woohoo.
No, definitely will not be lasting here.
And we've got the break shakes for Plague, and Phineas is going to end up in Baron with a key item. Assuredly is hoping that is the Darkness Crystal. I, for one, hope the Darkness Crystal is hiding behind a tower key, behind a pan, behind the Luca key. Or you know what? We can throw in a package in there, and we can throw in the Sand Ruby. Let's make it a full chain.
Yeah, let's go for it. Hey, let's go all in.
Yeah, I'm having fun watching. I love watching runners find chains. Now, when I'm playing, maybe a little bit less.
And we get to see the rare Edward casting exit out of here. And 4, it is a tower key.
And another Masamune for completing the... I think that was the 12 key item checks. So, yeah. And a Moon Veil, that's for the objective. It can be tough when these things are just flying at you. Keep up with what's what.
Yep, and there is the crystal. So the only thing he needs now to hit go mode is that darkness crystal.
That's right. Maybe a few levels. Well, getting close. Getting close to being able to do it. I would think Infinius is, going to head right back in and check the Baron basement. So K-Summon being on, that puts the Baron basement into the K-item pool / character pool. The King and Queen of Evelyn. The Panbonk, of course. And the Cave Bahamut boss. So lots and lots and lots of options here. Looks like Cubs Rule is going to scramble a couple eggs.
And looks like Infinius will be running into another Mylon. This time it is Mylon and Friends in the Odin spot.
I think this is her first Mylon and Friends. So one thing to keep in mind, folks, is the way experience is working. We're using some of the optional flags available in the alpha set. This particular setup provides 20% experience benefits for each objective. So we've set up 3 objective groups. Every 5 bosses, every 3 key items, and then group C is the 6 objectives you see before you. Each of those gives a 20% item bonus. Geez. Gives an experience bonus. Say the right words and say the words the right way. Up to a maximum of 3 times experience. But our usual 10 key item bonus has been turned off. So you can see it. You can see the current modifier at the end of each fight.
It also does come with another catch that the experience bonus is capped at 300%. So triple XP is the limit.
That's right. So you'll take a look there on Cubs Rule screen. You'll see he's already at 3 times. The experience isn't going to get any better, so that's probably why Cubs has chosen to pop some sirens now.
And that is a sand ruby found in the barren basement for Infinius.
My dreams of a complete chain have been shattered, but I imagine that sand ruby is also about to be shattered to do a key item check.
It's true. For all we know, there is HS sleeping in that bed.
That could be a darkness crystal. It could be a darkness crystal that has a very, very terrible fever, and it needs us to heal it.
But I always thought it was more cowbell that we needed, not a sand ruby.
The only difference, I put my pants on the same as you, 1 leg at a time. The only difference is that when I put it on, I heal fevers. Come on. Boy, oh boy, let's go see what's under the sand ruby. This could be a quick reset out. It's a red item.
Infinius and that is a reset.
Looks like Cubs Rule is onto his last siren. Lots of experience after this. Should be able to handle most of the seed. No challenges. Infinius is considering options, so has the tower key. I don't think has checked the 2 characters here. We know it's double edge. But Infinius doesn't, so I think just cleaning up available things, we will likely see a reset right away. Cubs Rule setting up some agility anchoring by throwing a cursed ring onto the Edward. So that should keep Edward nice and slow, the way the gods intended.
Looks like Infinius will be making a run to the sealed cave.
It's an interesting choice. I know Tower's a little bit longer, but you get 2 checks for Tower when you have the key in hand. I would lean towards Tower. The Sheila 1 check for locating, but not bonking the Yang is also on the table for Infinius. Cubs Rule is still heading down to the basement or the bottom of the Fey March, and will get the same 2 checks there. We know that the Queen hides the Earth Crystal. Xenocat makes a great point. You don't have to fight a boss here if it's bad. That's true. Of course, if it is the Darkness Crystal, then you might have to come down twice. I get it, though. Like, you got to make choices. That's what the game is about.
And this does make a lot of sense here. Let's go in, let's check it out, and if it's not worth it, we're pulling out.
True enough. Well, we'll find out in a moment. Yeah, as predicted, Infinius uses the next save spot, so it has that at the top of the sealed cave and bottom of the sealed cave save set up. Cubs is going to go check the basement and see what he can find.
And it is even more critical to know what it is here, because there is no warp in play.
There's the reset. Ninja hat. No thanks.
And so it has to be that he will be making his way to the tower now.
Yeah, we're starting to run out of locations where the Darkness Crystal or the path to the Darkness Crystal could be hiding. So,
yes. Sealed cave. Yeah. the hat of the sealed cave.
Yeah, that's right. So Cubs Rule is ahead on experience here, but Infinius is well ahead on checks at this point. So it is going to be interesting to see how this evens up, how Infinius chooses to grind, if Infinius chooses to grind. And if so, where? We know you have to go to the lunar subterranean because you're not going to find the pass. So maybe you just use your hourglasses and grab a couple gold dragons on the way down. The Odin will... Odins have been very easy bosses. It's been this, and it's been the first Baron in. So not particularly challenging.
And SNG plays as if the double dip sylph is on the table. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I think Infinius is definitely hoping to find the pan before having to do that. We will see in a little bit if the pan is an available reward. Of course, this could be a package, one of these items, and that could lead to the pan, which could lead to the darkness. So, oh, goodness, it looks like we're getting the Penguinator check. Heading back down. Woohoo.
Oh, cheeky play here.
That's right. This is one of those things, if this works out, feels amazing, and if it doesn't work out, you feel capital B bad.
It is always a treat to watch on our end, though.
It's an interesting choice. I think Infinius is making some bold plays, and I wonder if Infinius feels a little bit behind. We are an hour into the seed and still haven't found the Darkness Crystal. And you're probably thinking, if this is the Darkness Crystal behind Sheila 1, there's a good chance the other runner might have checked it already. That could be concerning. Oh no!
They white shirt for the troubles.
Oh no! So Infinius has set up the save and will head back up.
Yeah, at least that was done to make it a little less painful there.
It's not too much time, about a minute, but every minute counts. This is free enterprise. This is a race. So really interesting play. Unfortunate for Infinius that it didn't pay off. Great question, Snuggly Hugs. The Penguinator is named after a former member, I don't know, of the community, who made it basically a signature move to head up to Tower of Babel, do the Super Cannon room, and then bail out immediately without checking the top. The top is a long walk. You have this little animation at the beginning, and the boss can be tedious, especially if you're a little bit low on levels. So that play was made popular as a way to sort of maximize time with the risk that there's something that you miss on the top. King Queen Eblin should cause much trouble for Infinius. Cubs Rule is currently working on, looks like getting out, has the Earth Crystal, and is going to get out of the Feymarch, likely going to head up and handle Zot straight away. And you can see here that there is a hit point pool for these. Infinius has chosen to allow them to become conscious. That will take care of this. Yeah, so you save in the tower, you check the super, and if the super pays out, you move on, and if the super doesn't, you go check the top, or you go do something else, I suppose, is a possibility. There's the pan on the top of the tower. So 3 key item checks here. 3 key item checks from the pan bonk, and then 2 checks with Sheila. One of those will pay out either the Darkness Crystal or the package. And it's possible, of course, that we get both. At that point, Infinius, if it does get both, can choose to cash in the package, go through the long cutscene to get an adamant armor. My guess is Infinius is going straight to the moon if the Darkness Crystal shows up, and is only going to check the package if the Darkness Crystal is still absent. Meanwhile, in a moment here, we are going to get back down underground, and we are going to have a little bit more Illusion of Gaia music for you in a second, courtesy of our incredible restreamer, Xenocat. While Infinius is walking out that pan, and we'll head over to the Sylph Cave. Cubs Roll takes a save, just in case. Never a bad idea to be cautious. All right, we're gonna go ahead and be a little bit quiet for you in a second here. And yeah, enjoy round 2 with the music, folks. All right, so that was the Dark Gaia theme from the Illusion of Gaia. Hope you enjoyed it. Meanwhile, we have Infinius scrambling some eggs and is going to be getting ready to head. Well, once he finds the Darkness Crystal, we'll be getting ready to head to the moon. Cubs Roll looks like he's going to walk out. I think that was a boss objective. Chooses to walk that out. Infinius is going to head on up and do the 2 Sheila checks here. And, well, something will lead to progress. Oh, he's going to do Fabul first. I suppose it is the mythical single dip. We know this is only going to lead to an edge. But Infinius doesn't know that. And, again, probably is legitimately hoping this is nothing. I think I would feel really bad if I found it at this point. But yeah, we'll see in a moment. The Mom Bomb shouldn't take too long to head on through. Yeah, meanwhile, Cubs Rule heading on up to take care of Zot. That will shouldn't take a terrible amount of time. We know there's not going to be much up here until Cubs finds the tower key, which doesn't lead to progression. The pan has been sitting on the top of the tower the whole time. Infinius will find here. We've got, let's see. There's the package. That's the 15th key item, which gives the Loki loot. Very powerful item. And we're going to have to see the package. So Infinius is going to pick up. We're doing 17 of 17 tonight. Infinius is going to go do the package. That will have to lead to the Darkness Crystal. I believe it is the only thing left. Cubs Rule still heading on up the Tower of Zot as quickly as possible. Does not bother with the save. Has already done King Queen Eblin. So can head right on in to take on the Plague on the other side. Infinius is zipping on over to Mist to take care of that. All right. Damara, were you able to come back? Let's see. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties with my co-host. I am Damar tonight. There is a blue item, so Infinius will not have to go pick up the adamant. Looks like that is going to be the darkness crystal hanging out right there. Meanwhile, Cubs Roll takes down that plague and is going to head on. Likely head back underground once he gets the tower key. We'll see if Cubs Rule chooses to do the sealed cave or instead chooses to head to the tower. Or Sheila 1. Sheila 1 was also the answer, since that was where the package was. So this seed was wide open for the moment they went underground, but both runners chose to fade those checks late. Looks like Infinius says, you know what? We're already here. Let's go ahead and get our... I guess, yeah, if you want this in, you have to complete this. So you don't get the item until you go through the whole cutscene. So Infinius is going to get the adamant, going to get the darkness. Cubs Rule picks up his crystal, while Infinius will very quickly dispatch an antlion. And it looks like Cubs Rule is going to head right back down to take care of what we know as Mylon and friends in the basement. I don't believe there is... That's the sand ruby down there, which we know leads to a red item. Nothing of note. Infinius gets the adamant. You know, why not? Armor up. We'll head back to pick up the airship, and then that should be that. That should be off to Mysidia. Sorry, folks, we were just trying to get Damar's audio sorted so that I can not be awkwardly alone right now as we go through the character cutscene. Or sorry, the raise the whale cutscene. Cubs Rule is going to keep working on that Mylon. Shouldn't take too much longer for Cubs Rule, not with the amount of power that he's brought to this. Frankly, both parties are at pretty good strength, and Infinius can pretty much go straight on down. I did pick up a few eggs while we were listening to our reprise of the Illusion of Gaia theme earlier. So should have enough experience to take care of business. Oh, I heard a little bit there, Damar.
Here we go.
All right, welcome back. We missed you.
I apologize for that, y'all. Having a little issues with equipment here.
Hey, we're live, pal. It happens sometimes. So Infinius, right to the lunar subterranean entrance, and we will see what the character coming in is. Oh, it's an edge. It's a character, and it's not a red chest. So down Infinius will go. I expect probably heading straight on down.
At this point, there's no reason to do anything else. I mean, if you have the power, you jump right in and let's make it happen.
That's right. You've got a bevy of spoons to throw. You've got massas. You've got muras. You've got the adamant armor. Looks like Cubs Rule is going to go peek the Kaipo bed We'll find it's a red item. Almost certainly will not cure it. We don't need to cure red items. We only need to cure blue items today. Oh, no, it is going to cure. Wow, okay. It's a crystal sword, but you can't even throw.
It's a reset.
If that's an X-Cal, are you tempted to take it for the throw? Are you tempted to sit through the shortcut scene and the heal?
I personally would. I mean, because that's really the only thing you really at this point you bring to the table.
Yeah, exactly. Cubs Rule has chosen the sealed cave. We know that the move is to go to Sheila 1. Cubs Rule doesn't know that, and is probably going to follow the same path. Will be interesting to see if Cubs decides to do the Penguinator special as well. But Infinius is already at the save spot on the Lunar Subterrane, and looks like is going to gear up for the upcoming fight with Mr. Zeromus. So shouldn't be too much longer. Yep, not bothering with any bosses. Down we go. We've got the power. We've got the gear. We've got at least one Edward. What more can you ask for?
Yep, not seeing the flags out there, but we are seeing whose butt. So there's a question that we ask. So Zeromus is big, he's mean, he's nasty, has a lot of XP and HP, and has his own unique set of mechanics. So we cannot randomize his location, so instead we randomize his sprite. So the question becomes, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
It's a very important and valuable question. There are over 700 sprites to choose from. The game has selected one automatically already. Once the crystal is thrown, we will see. Cubs Roll is reset out and is going to head on over to the Tower Babel. Meanwhile, Infinius getting ready to go. Does have a level 1 Edward as an anchor. You know, good on you, level 1 Edward. You're participating. You're throwing the crystal.
It makes me think of the Ralph Wiggum meme. I'm happy.
Have to think there's going to be some throws come out here, but at least one of those edges is going to get zerked up right away. All right, here's the gear erg. Oh my goodness.
Turbo-tastic.
You're going to have to help me out. What's this from?
It's from Ralph, and the villain is... He's a villain. He is a guy who jumped from the game and took over another game.
Yes. I recognize it now.
Zeromus, you're not going turbo, are you?
So out come the darts from one of those knifeys. We'll throw a silk web. That will cause Zeromus to counterattack with a nuke. Whenever Zeromus throws a nuke, he lowers his magic power for the next cycle. If the next cycle ends with the Big Bang, it means Zeromus will throw a low-powered Big Bang. We call it nerfing. And that means it'll only be 800, 900, 1,000 damage, rather than it being 1,800 to 2,000 damage. So nerfing is very important, especially if you are having a fight that's going quick. The first one's pretty easy because it's usually the next action that gets queued up. But later on, you got to watch the shakes. You got to guess which one is a real shake, which one's a fake shake. But something tells me we're not going to get to the second Big Bang with the amount of damage that's been thrown out already.
I can't see it in this situation.
No, there's still a spoon to throw. Infinius is going hog wild on the Turbomus at 3,500, 4,000 damage a pop, 10,000 from those spoons. Cubs Rules picked up his pan, but Infinius well ahead now. Doesn't look like a wipe is on the table. Is not worried about healing. Can't really do much healing anyway because there's no white mages. It's throwing and it's zerking.
Gotta throw caution to the wind here. I mean, you have no safety. You have no safety line, so just gotta go all in.
And there it is. It's over. Crash, bang, boom. The Turtlemus is defeated. And we have a winner of our restream tonight will be Infinius. We will check to see if it is the #1 victory for the entire community race. But GG's to Infinius.
GG.
Cubs Rule still working incredibly hard to get through this. We'll pick up the Odin. We'll go ahead and get, I think it was a white shirt, and then almost certainly we'll proceed to Sheila and pretty much head straight on down. So I've just heard a...
We are joined by Infinius. GG, Infinius.
GG's Infinius indeed. How well run. That was really well executed, I thought, in terms of the actual the routing. I really liked it. But I gotta ask, how did it feel? How did it feel when it turned out the answer was that Sheila won all along?
Actually, it was Sheila too, because it was the pan turn in.
Was it the pan turn in? Okay, I missed that. So how does it feel to know that the way through is at top of tower all along?
Look, I have to make, with this kind of flag set where you have so many options open, you have to commit to fading something to try to win this race. I chose no, so I basically, as soon as I realized that K-Char was on, I kind of assumed that, and because I missed that, I just said, okay, I'm just gonna leave Messiah to last because I completely forgot about it. So this is a way for me to save time, and I have a habit of fading for ball anyway, so I chose that. But no, it was just, I felt with all my choices, it was just, you just had to do the things you had to do. Oh damn it! One too many treasure. God, can't sign it. But yeah, the other awkward thing is that I know. So I committed to because and then once I get on the ground, it's like, well, I have to, especially with K-Char on, you feel obliged to do dwarf first because it's basically 2 checks with the character there as well. Once I gave the twin harp, you're obliged to actually do that because that was an objective. Once you get one, and then once that blanks out, well, I now have the Moon Veil to be able to handle whatever's in the Fame March. So, says I didn't need it, but that's beside the point. But once you get the Earth Crystal from the objective Asura, you feel obliged to go up Zot because K-Char is on and also objective. That's 3 checks. And then after the way around is like, okay, I had the Baron basement left over, so I had to do that. Yeah, I had set up a lot of save scumming in amongst all that seed. Like, if Top of Tower didn't end up having anything, I actually had a save scum back to in front of Sealed Cave to basically do Sheila 1. So, a lot of planning and thinking had to go into that. So,
we did notice when you were setting up for Sealed Cave, we did make a note on stream about the save scums you were setting up. So I thought it was really well done. We did notice to attempt the Penguinator, it didn't pay off, but you set it up masterfully to pop right back in and right back up to the top. So yeah, we did notice that, and we did make a note. What was there any point in the seed where you felt like things were starting to go off the rails? Like one of the places that we noticed was the Queen's spot. The fight against the D-Lunars there got a little bit hairy in places. But how did you feel?
No, that was completely under control. There was no threat to me whatsoever. I knew because there was no way for me, because that is a very high magic spot. I did not want to see the virus, so the only way through that was through basically getting lunar frog strats. And since Edward had the crystal ring, he was never dying from all that anyway. My approach was that there's no point. The other characters weren't actually going to contribute any offense whatsoever, so I was okay with them actually getting knocked out in that fight anyway. It also, as it played out, it also meant that doing overall checks is just better, quicker, because I literally do not have to menu to them. So there was no issue there.
Oh,
it looked bad, it looked scary, but no threat.
Listen, we've got a job to do. We got to try to drum up a little bit of drama here, right?
It's fair. It's one of those. I know what I'm doing. This is fine, kind of thing. If the only point where I felt things might have been a bit hairy was that Zeremis fight when Edward took the counter nuke for the nerf. Because I knew that's about 10k damage that I just lost right there, because Edward's not swinging with a spoon. That's kind of I hedged against that by having Edward the anchor Edward hide. Because I figured I just tried to push through damage. I had lost. I figured I was close, so that's why I went for it and just went heck healing, just do damage.
Yeah, we were assuming that with the amount of darts and with the Zerks that you had so adroitly picked up at Cave Eblin, we assumed that you were going to rip through it pretty quickly. I definitely see where you mean that losing the Edward with a spoon slowed you down a little bit, but well recovered, and yeah, very, very well fight and very clean Z fight, we thought.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
One of the big differences between you and Cubs Rule is that Cubs Rule went straight to Eblin, looted Eblin, and took the monster boxes early. You waited until much later. Was there a concern around gear or experience early on, or were you relatively comfortable operating at lower levels until, after ordeals, after you got the hook?
Honestly, I just feel like when you have a starting edge, there's two approaches you can take. I think the Cubs' approach of just looting Eblin, see if you hit on getting like a ninja sword or even a power shot would be amazing. That was one path. I just chose the other path of just I'm just gonna go two characters. Two characters. I've got enough items. I've got enough weaponry to try and do what I can. I think there was a Drain Spear that I looted in, I want to say, the public treasury. That was also nice because that gave me an outlet just to win a fight in the overworld on its own, because I could just start it. So no, especially in this, I just feel like I just prioritize just getting more efficient checks more than anything else, and just do checks.
The experiences from the objectives, was that a factor in your decision as well?
Yes. From looking at objectives, your priority in terms of what the rewards you get, just prioritizing getting your first spoon, I felt was important. Also getting your first I guess trying to get to 9 keyamps as soon as possible just to get that power robe. That was those were quite important. Also this. And if you as soon as you see an objective from Objective C, you just do it, because the first one is meh, but all the others were really good. Also the other thing I felt was that the sooner you do, because of the 20% XP per objective, just being able to just be ahead of the curve, get those levels way quicker is so important. It helps a lot.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah,
does.
I wasn't even sure if I was meant to do those eggs, but it turns out it was the right call. But like even then, like 2 eggs for what 200k XP or something like that. It's a lot. That just makes things so much quicker.
Yeah, and it's not like you're taking a whole lot of time out just to take out 2 eggs. So I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable play. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think what other pain points were there. No, I don't think it was like this. To me, I guess the way I tend to play, this was a pretty straightforward one run. Just calculated aggression. Just do checks.
yeah, and this definitely was a having only Edge and Eddie. I mean, it's kind of one of those ones where you look at it and it's like, okay, you don't have that safety of having a white mage or even a Rydia with healing summon, so you kind of just gotta look at it and be like, all gas, no brakes. So
yeah. Also, another reason why I prioritized going down the hook route was not only didn't have the boxes, but the Evelyn. I really want to know whether I need to spend time to steal Barkus Wine from the Mad Ogres in Cave Evelyn. It was a decision point for me, because if I needed to take that time, I can. Whereas I think if you do Evelyn early, that avenue might be taken away from you because you got something valuable there.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Excuse me, that makes a lot of sense.
Just it'll be a really awkward Barker steal, I guess, because I guess we've had 3 edges, so you just know it getting to like 10, 15 Barker's one would have been pretty quick, but it was still taking time. Like it would have been like a 3-minute grind fight just to get Barkus Wine, but thankfully Evelyn had the goods, so I bought like 20. I still had, I think, 20 at the end of it, but like I also, because I went back and bought more, but I don't know. I always find it's better to have way too much Barkus Wine than too few.
Yeah, it's usually AA. Like, there's no between. It's easy to do. And I saw there was other options in that shop as well, and I saw the decision to go for the Barkus Wands, and I was over there like, yes, I believe this was the right play. So I think Sirens in that same shop as well.
Yeah, there were. Yes, there were. And again, this again speaks to my point about objectives. I didn't feel I needed to grind until I was essentially in either go mode or I guess what ended up being no mode, right? Because I full cleared everything. At that point, that was you have so much power because you have an edge with you have a Spoonwood, you have edge with Massa, and I guess I double Massa, 2 Massa, 2 mirror, Massa mirror edges. So you just have so much power. You don't need that much push to break through overworld, underground, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and definitely, I think you did such an excellent job of balancing sort of what you were doing versus your expected power level. Never too much looting, no grinding that was unnecessary, and I think that does make the difference up between you and Cubs. So again, just really well run and just really good knowledge of where you needed to be and what you needed to do to get to where you had to go. So yeah, really well run. Tamara, is there anything else you want to add?
I do not. Do you?
No, I'm good. And Phineas, once again, GG's. Thank you so much for joining us for an interview.
Yeah. Actually, no worries. Actually, I have one more thing to add, which was
go ahead,
choice, actually, in terms of decision points. Was like, as soon as you see that Calbrena was the boss of the hook route, there was a thought for me to actually go down the hook route, as opposed to trying to find the magma key. That was a thought that occurred to me. It was just awkward because Zot and Magnus were objectives as well. So if the way underground was through them, that was kind of an awkward thing to miss, essentially. So I just commit to not deep diving. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to add that for as well, because it did occur to me.
Yeah, we had commented on that at the time. We wondered if that's what you were doing, and then when you doubled back, we're like, okay, yeah, no, that it makes sense. But yeah, the dolls. We the first thing we said is, oh, you could do that right now.
No, it was like I said. I think, given that basically all the overall objectives were in play, as in Group C, I don't think it was the right call. If the objectives were like, if Magnus and Zot were not main objectives, I think you actually do make that call, because you do make that call to just go underground. But in that spot, no. With those objectives, no. You just go get down there.
Oh,
Get down there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and thank you for running us through your thought patterns there, because I think that's very helpful to any runners like myself who are not as good as you, who are interested in learning about making the right decisions.
Thank you. Thanks to both of you for doing commentary. Thank you to let's scroll there. Xenocap for doing tracking, and thank you Beauty for doing the restreaming. And hope I provided some amount of entertainment at least.
Yeah, really great run tonight. Thank you again, Infinius, and have yourself a great night, okay?
Yeah, you all have a good one.
Thank you.
Perfect. So we'll just pop back over. It looks like Cubs Rule will be finishing up very shortly, is in a very similar situation that Infinius was in, with throwing out a bunch of damage with some berserked edges and using one to throw spoons and other such things.
4K a pop with the berserk, and definitely the damage is not an issue here.
No, it shouldn't be too much of a challenge to take down Turbomus. Getting up that extra edge, the anchor edge, and we are all edges, all edge all the time. No spoon, no edge, just edge. Still has a bunch of spoons to throw. 3 spoons.
And looks like
2
yep,
spoons.
bring that one up to keep throwing spoons as well.
Well, I mean, that's what you got them for. You got them to throw.
Even the base level one is going to contribute. And there's the rock, so it is almost over.
No, it does not get to contribute. Back down. But that's okay. It's over. Turbomus goes down. Cubs Rule finishes at 138.55. GG's to Cubs Rule.
As a GG. Yeah.
We'll see if we get an interview here in a second.
And Turbomus gets what he deserves. They're trying to come in and take over another game.
That's right. Go back to your own game. You're not welcome here.
We'll take a moment, wait and see if those rules coming our way.
Yeah, ultimately they made very similar choices in a lot of ways, but execution and I think routing was on Infinius' side tonight. And
Yeah, I think the decision to go in and do a few objectives early, I think that paid off better, I believe.
all right, so it looks like Cubs Rule is going to skip out on the interview tonight, which is perfectly understandable. 138 is, that's quite a lot of time to give us already. So first of all, we want to say GG's to Infinius, Cubs Rule, Garrett, everyone else running tonight. Infinius, well done on taking first overall in our community race night. Folks, if you've been having a great time, you should definitely pop onto twitch.tv and follow our runners at /CubsRule21 and /Judge_Infinius for Infinius. And of course, we always want to thank our incredible restreamer Beauty and Discovery for pushing all the buttons, setting this up so that we can talk at you. We want to thank Xenocap both for the incredible music and for pushing the buttons to make all the pretty things light up. And Damara, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. This has been a lot of fun.
It has always been a pleasure, Veritas. Appreciate it very much. And it looks like tonight we will be raiding Tallbear, so if y'all want some more Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise action, y'all sit tight, and we will be sending y'all out to some more.
Folks, thank you so much for joining. This has been the Community Race on twitch.tv/Free Enterprise. Have yourself a great night, and we'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah, y'all take care of yourselves and each other.